ISU Speaks, your place for ISU news.
Good morning, ISUians, and welcome back to ISU Speaks. More Americans die each year from suicide than car crashes. According to the Health Day Consumer News Service 2012, in 2010, there were 33,687 deaths from motor vehicle crashes, while 38,364 were caused by suicide. There have been many cases in the national media recently discussing this unfortunate tragedy. One such example was the recent death of Robin Williams. One that hits even closer to home was the death of an ISU student last month. Christopher Predmore, a freshman marketing major, took his own life in his dorm room last month. Vedette Online 2014. Today we have experts with us who will help us to understand what mental illness truly is. These experts will talk to you about the science behind mental illness, discuss the stigmas that are still associated with mental illnesses, as well as some of the steps to prevent such stigmas and attitudes toward mental illness.
Good morning. I'm Dr. Jenna, and I'd like to talk to you about what mental illness really is. Sonia Estrada had once said a quote on the topic of mental illness. She had stated, "I have people saying it's all in your head. Do you honestly think I want to feel this way?" Many people have skewed perceptions on what mental illness really is. According to a section of the Mayo Clinic website titled Diseases and Conditions Mental Illness refers to a wide range of mental health conditions. According to the National Alliance of Mental illnesses is a medical condition that disrupts a person's thinking, feeling, mood, ability to relate to others, and daily functioning. It can affect anyone, no matter the age, race, sex, or religion. According to Robert Predit in a Health Day article posted on WebMD in November of 2014, it was reported that 1 in 5 American adults have been diagnosed with a mental illness in the year of 2013. This is the equivalent to 43.8 million people. Of those, 10 million adults had a serious mental illness, 15.7 million had major depressive episodes, 9.3 million had serious thoughts of suicide, 2.7 million made suicide plans, and 1.3 million attempted the suicide. Mental illness can be developed from a multitude of reasons. One way is from heredity. According to a WebMD article, mental illness can run in families. This suggests that parents are capable of passing on their genes to their children. However, it has been shown that there are multiple genes that need to be passed for mental illness to be expressed. Mental illnesses can also be explained by biology. There have been some mental illnesses that have been linked to abnormal functioning of brain circuits that connect different regions of the brain. These different regions include control, thinking, mood, and behavior. With these regions, nerve cells send information along circuits from one cell to the next. This information is referred to as neurotransmitters. Imbalances can be caused due to deficiencies in important information that these cells need. Dr. Brianna can talk more on the stigma that surrounds mental illness.
And now, a quick word from our sponsor.
I'm Dr. Brianna, and I am here to talk with you about the stigma that surrounds mental illness. The common problem with getting treatment for mental illness and understanding mental illnesses is the stigma as a society we have on the topic. Mental health stigma can be divided into two distinct types, social stigma and perceived stigma. According to the study published in the American Journal of Public Health, social stigma can be characterized as prejudicial attitudes and discriminating behavior directed towards individual mental health problems. Typically, this negative ideas and emotions are placed among individuals with mental illnesses. For example, when people believe that individuals with depression are looking for attention or don't know how to let things go, as well as people with bipolar disorder are being crazy, emotional, and unstable, and even people with schizophrenia are said to be just plain crazy. These are just a few examples of how the social stigma that are placed on people who have mental illnesses. According to a study published in the American Sociology Review, perceived stigma or self-stigma is internalizing by the mental health sufferer of their perception of discrimination, and perceived stigma can be significantly affected feelings of shame and lead to poor treatment outcomes such as self-harm, addictions, and even suicide. With stigmas attached to mental illnesses, people who suffer or those with symptoms of these illnesses are apprehensive about seeking help. According to the National Institute of Mental Health, people with mental illnesses wait nearly a decade to get treatment after symptoms first appear. According to the 2012 national survey produced by the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, nearly 40% of adults with serious mental illnesses received no treatment in the previous year. Among adults with any mental illnesses, 60% were untreated. These numbers are even higher in cases of minorities. According to the National Alliance of Mental Illnesses, 1 in 3 will experience a major depressive episode within their lifetime. This is opposed to the 1 in 4 in the general population. Even though we have statistics on how Americans are diagnosed with mental illnesses, we need to realize that those individuals are not the only ones. There are many Americans who suffer daily and never get diagnosed. Let us now hear from Tyler, an expert on mental illness.
And now, a quick word from our sponsor.
Hello, my name is Tyler Cruz. I'm an expert on mental illness solutions. I have done extensive research and feel that I can possibly provide the best solutions to this epidemic. Now, the solutions lie on a twofold level. The first thing we need to do is raise awareness on mental illness as a whole. People don't know that it's a normal medical condition to experience. The way we can fix that is by reforming the way our health classes teach this subject. Instead of focusing on the logistical aspect, classes should show the real people who experience these conditions. By doing this, we can remove the alien aspects that stigmatize mental illness, and finally find a way to better incorporate treatment to those who most likely wouldn't receive this. We must be educated to fix this problem. Secondly, we must speak out and share our stories. Andrew Solomon, an author, recently spoke out about his experience with depression, stating that depression is so exhausting. It takes up so much of your time and energy, and silence about it really does make it worse. The thing that we must prevent is the silence. If you or someone else is experiencing symptoms of any mental illness, do not hold that inside to yourself. Find someone who will listen to you so that you can find a way to receive individual treatment. If you have been experiencing some type of mental illness, share your story. By showing the true, real faces of this epidemic, we can curb the general population's misconceptions on what mental illness really is. It's normal. So don't be afraid to speak out. Don't be afraid to share your story. And finally, don't be afraid.
And now, a quick word from our sponsor. Before we send you off to Bob the Weatherman, let's recap what we learned here today. We talked about what mental illness is, the stigma that continues to follow this medical condition, as well as some of the solution to this problem. Mental illness affects millions around the world. It's time that people understand that mental illness is a medical condition. Don't be afraid.
ISU Speaks, your place for ISU news.